I'm sick of being critiqued by nitpicking nerds, and you're listening to Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we'll be discussing Season 6, Episode 11, Irreconcilable into Indifferences. My name is Michelle Burlingame. With me are Tommy Roulette.
How's it going?
Pete Woodward.
That's me.
And absolutely no one else.
Yeah.
Hi, no one else.
Hey,
This
nobody
is-
else.
We just did this recently, but this is a lot of no guests in a short time. And it's a Monday, and we're all exhausted. So I'm excited to see how this goes. We might just all kind of nod off and nap halfway through. It was a weird week for a lot of reasons.
It has been a weird week.
But I'm switching jobs, so I've had like half of last week off, and I technically have this week off. And my penchant for self-abuse has been just out of control. Like really, just like, hey, I'm on vacation, woo, spring break, and my body doesn't handle it as well. In some regards, it handles it a lot better than it should, and in others, it doesn't handle it well at all. Like. I'm generally not damaged from the stuff I put into it, but if I don't get enough sleep, that's when I really get all messed up.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am. Just I've had a headache for like 2 weeks straight. And I don't know if it's like the weather has been so weird where it's like 60 degrees and raining and then 90 degrees and sunny the next day. And I don't know why, but I've just like not been sleeping, have a headache. My sinuses are all messed up. I'm not sick, but I just don't feel good.
Yeah.
I just feel like crap.
I think they call that malaise.
Malaise.
That's
Mayonnaise.
probably what mayonnaise is
They
good
call it
too.
mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise will fix malaise if you eat enough of it, because you'll die.
How much is too much?
That's
Depends on
Yeah.
what too much you have.
like if you're making some sort of a mayonnaise-based salad, say a potato salad or a tuna salad or an egg salad, at the point where it no longer holds physical, like if you scoop it and it doesn't stay scoopy, that's too much mayonnaise.
Okay.
If you're making it with a sandwich or something, it's harder because I do like you get a nice chicken sandwich and there's mayonnaise on it. There's enough that it just maybe some drips off.
Or a nice aioli.
Yes, exactly.
Aioli is just another word for mayonnaise so that people who think they don't like mayonnaise eat it and go,
Oh, this is delicious. Yeah. And you had that one Facebook thread once where
Yeah.
you got mayonnaise
Stand
slain.
by it. I stand by it.
I am on your side with that.
It is. Google it. They're
whipped-
the same thing.
Whipped oil, eggs, and stuff.
Vinegar, yeah.
Yeah.
And then sometimes an aioli has like garlic
Roasted
or
garlic.
a thing like additional that mayonnaise doesn't have.
Yeah,
like
some sort of herbal tint.
one splash of flavor.
Well,
that
they
is
have-
extra to
They
mayonnaise.
have the mayonnaise with the olive oil in it, so therefore that's kind of
That
like
is
an
aioli. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
And aioli is just a slightly oilier mayonnaise.
And the only reason they use the olive oil is to make it seem healthier from like the canola oil or whatever else they
Yeah.
use in the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I still buy it because
I like
dumb.
mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise is great.
It is.
It is a condiment for many situations. I think this was another short episode because they did open with the little scary door thing at the beginning.
But it's one of the best scary doors.
Absolutely. 'Cause it did not make any sense.
No,
and
it
it had a
makes total
banana
sense.
pickle. How did it make sense? Because I was totally stumped.
What didn't make sense? Like visuals, not
No,
making sense.
no.
So
Just
you're taking a vacation from normalcy. The setting, a weird motel where the bed is stained with mystery, and there's also some mystery floating in the pool. Your key card may not open the exercise room because someone smeared mystery on the lock, but it will open the scary door. And that's just it's one of my favorite scary doors.
No, that stuff was great, and I'm glad you wrote that down because like we watched this last week because we were supposed to record this episode last week, and then everybody was off in the health sense of the word. So I'm going back to my notes a week out, and then just watching another episode. So it's really gonna sit funny in my brain. But like the actual story for the scary door, where it was like aliens, I didn't get what happened. It was like, they're already here. We're all aliens, but it didn't, I just couldn't follow it. Like, it was just super non sequitur, or am I just overthinking it and being too dumb?
I think you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just
Goofy, non sequitur
That works. I just
Yeah.
when I watched the episode,
You
I was
know
having a hard time.
how he
following.
knows there's no such thing as aliens? Because that other guy was an alien. They might.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just exactly it doesn't make sense. And then right back into Lur and into arguing. They're like the honeymooners. It's great. I was glad to see them come back because they can be pretty entertaining. Like overall, now that I'm thinking back on it, like I've got a lot of notes, and this was a fun episode. Especially the delivery boy man comics.
Yeah, he's still a boy.
Yeah.
That's the best part, is that he's still a delivery boy man. Like, he's not the delivery man, he's delivery boy man. It's like he's still like...
It's all Dr. Kat's squiggle vision, too.
Yeah.
Like, that part was great, because it's all like I got... it looked like it was
Fry can't
hand-drawn. No, but then it's on a monitor.
Yeah, it's like
on
an
an
iPad.
iPad thing. And was the what? Stop it, you hero!
Yeah.
And then he has reverse time power. It's earlier now. It was so good, but the fact that Hermes wanted a mind enema afterwards, that was I mean, I've wanted one of those for a while.
He was bitten by a radioactive Superman. That's why he has so many superpowers.
Oh God, I didn't catch that part
Yeah.
either. Like this is verging on a Fry is so dumb reference because man, it's crazy. And then it's just always like it's him and Leela and then like the lizard reptilian man who's clearly referencing like the Illuminati. It's one of those.
This whole episode has so many great lines in it. Like, there were so many for me to pick from to put in the intro that I just had to go with one of them because I had like 5 written down. And then another one of the good ones is Zoidberg says they're looking at the ads in the comic book, and Zoidberg says these X-ray specs will really take the guesswork out of surgery. No more chopping blindly in the goop.
I've got that written down too. Do they still have ads like that in comics?
I don't.
Not really. It's usually something in the back for like a Nickelodeon product or like a TV show that's coming out, or Batman versus Superman. Like
Weird.
It's ads for things that Marvel owns or whatever.
So they're just. I mean, are they
Company
even
release the comic?
I mean, are they even selling ad space really, or is it just? Because comics used to be, especially like late '70s, early '80s ones. Like the ones I'd see at the barbershop as a kid were just like 60%.
Oh yeah, all of my dad's
ads.
comics that I would read had crazy shit in the back, and I would read this comic book called Plop that was from I believe maybe late '60s, early '70s. I don't know. I'm not sure. All I know is that it was old. And it was my dad's when he was a kid, so I'm thinking it was some point in the '70s, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and it had like goofy fake ads that were even more. But like
It's called
they're
Plop.
it was called Plop. It was called Plop. I recommend that everyone, and I'm gonna do this. Look up Plop. I want to find more issues of Plop.
I'm gonna make a
was
blanket statement
just
though.
ridiculous.
Google carefully.
Yeah, maybe Plop comic.
And then you'll get like, did you mean Carrot Top?
Showing results for prop
Gallagher.
comic.
But yeah, like I always had fun reading my dad's old comics and seeing all the goofy take this supplement to get strong.
Oh,
young
the Charles
man.
Atlas
Like,
ads,
yeah.
like the 98-pound weakling, and then he had the like the Rock Hudson body where there's no definition.
Well, in the girl comics, they had are you too thin? Take
Really?
this. Yeah, you need to eat this Mrs. So and So's whatever powder, and
Oh
it
my
was
God.
to make you shapely or something. I don't know what it was.
Couldn't you just eat mayonnaise?
Probably.
I think that would work just as well.
Meant
there's-
like a shapely woman with curves.
This I never even thought to look at that stuff. I mean, so girl comics like what? Just like
like Betty and Veronica.
yeah,
and all that crap.
okay. I mean, that would get into like the ads for Grit, which was like I don't know what your experience with this was. Like having gone to Catholic school in the 80s, like every 2 months you were forced to go door to door and try and sell some raffle tickets or some shit.
Yeah.
that grit newspaper that they was always like Richie Rich was the cartoon character and it was like, oh yeah, here's some shit that nobody really wants. Go out and make yourself a self-made millionaire selling this newspaper. That seemed crazy to me. Like even at that age, I'm like, what the fuck? How does that even work?
Yeah.
I did have sea monkeys,
I used to have sea monkeys.
which is just it looked like dirty water.
So I just looked it up. So Plop was mid 70s, so I was right. There's only 24 issues of Plop. It was DC Comics, ran from October of 73 to November of 76.
Okay.
And it's considered horror humor. So that makes absolute sense as to how I grew up the way I did. As I'm sitting here wearing a Tales from the Crypt shirt.
Right. That's very on brand.
Like looking at the covers of the issues, like they're pretty goofy.
Yeah.
I don't think those guys were on drugs at all. Not one bit. So the professor's whole refutation is like, that stuff is butt grade crap. Like, but then they go to the comic convention, which was just, have they done that before? They've gone to various like convention type things, but I don't know if there was a specific.
There's never been like a
one.
Comic-Con one that they've gone
Like there was
to.
the robots one.
Yeah.
And the voting thing.
Right.
But not, okay. Because that seemed like it was ripe for the for all kinds of stuff. You know, like video game, the movie the video game, which still true today. maybe cutting edge jokes back then, but the thing with the action figures where Zoidberg just tears into it. He's like, but that's the rare Zap Brannigan with the recording session bloopers. Like, that's what I want to hear. Like, I want a reel of just that stuff. But him getting all freaked out, he goes, but it said there was a mint in the box. Like,
Mint in box.
yeah.
Yes. That was a good one.
It was, I just, there's some prime Zoidberg in this. He was good. And Matt Groening's other panel, which
Yeah. So the funny part is that pretty much everyone in this episode who is on that panel for Futurella
yeah.
made Disenchantment. They're all
Really?
real people. Like
Yeah.
Ken Keeler's on the end. He wrote Disenchantment.
Yeah.
Like, it's that whole panel. It's just weird meta.
Future,
Like
they predicted
they
the future.
predicted the future.
Yeah, I mean, they were all like regular Futurama people too. But that was funny, and then the fact that it was just like, they had Futurella,
Yeah.
and just people were just like Bender immediately was asking about the Simpsons,
Second
Simpsons.
movie.
Oh yeah, and I think they're making another Simpsons movie now. Like that's in
Why?
It's in production, a second Simpsons movie. I'm pretty sure I saw something about it recently. Because people love The Simpsons.
Why can't they love things just for as long as I love them and then stop?
Yeah.
I get FOMO, but not really FOMO. Like I just don't care, and it makes me feel bad that I don't care.
About what?
Not liking The Simpsons
Oh.
anymore. It's not even not liking it. I don't have
tired of it.
Yeah. I guess that's it. And the fact that it's been on for like 3 times as long as the length of time I watched it is just weird.
Yeah, Simpsons movie 2 reportedly in development at Fox as of August 10th. So, yep. There we go. So very very predictive of current day.
Was that really Sergio Aragonés?
Yes.
Yeah. Is he still alive?
I think so.
Because, like, so he did all the Mad Magazine margin scribblings, right? But then Gru the Wanderer was his. He's just one of those weird European comics guys that had, like, you wouldn't even necessarily see them in shops. You'd have to go to a comic shop to buy it. And it was all just a little bit dirty and weird. But Fry taking his mustache and just using that as, like, so I don't know if anybody listened to the episode, but they did a Doug Loves Movies here a couple weeks ago at Accidental Comedy Festival.
I did not listen to it.
And I think it was Amy Miller brought a pack of fake mustaches that was supposed to go in the gift bag, but then they all started putting them on during the show. So like Billy Wayne Davis had like a twisty turny Dick Dastardly one, and
I think
then
I saw pictures of this on Facebook and Instagram.
it was, and it was just hilarious because it just added this other layer of silly. But then at like another point, I think when people were getting the name tags, Doug put 2 more on his eyebrows, and like I went to talk to him after the show, and he still had this stuff on. It was so distracting because he's just like, because he's already got the big stoner eyes and stuff, and then he's like making these eyebrow movements and things with the fake mustaches on his eyebrows, and that was like that. This is what came to my head when Fry like took off the mustache. Like, there's Andy Daly from Review and everything else. He had created and marketed a game at one point called Mustache TV. And you would just take a fake mustache and you'd put it on your TV screen.
I used to do that in college.
Yeah.
And then you drink when it matches up.
Or just like you get points or whatever. You're like, this is,
something.
And so there's a little game. I mean, it just came. I have it somewhere. I don't remember where, but it's remarkably entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
I want more fake mustaches in my life.
I used to actually keep a fake mustache on my TV, and I had googly eyes on my TV too, just for that
just
reason.
to have it. See, that would be good too if you could get it to match up. Like it would probably make Iron Fist a lot better.
I never watched it because I saw the reviews and was like, yeah,
The
I
second
don't need
season's
to.
way better.
Is it?
Oh yeah,
Good.
Totally redeemed itself.
That's
Okay.
good. Maybe I will watch it then.
I'll get there eventually. I don't know what the context is on this anymore, but what's the... Oh, no, I do. He goes, oh, I do like this doodle on the margin. And he's like, oh, that's just some relish from a hot dog I found.
Yeah.
A hot dog I found. Not like a hot dog I ate or had, but like he found it. He didn't say he ate it or that he bought it. It was a hot dog he found. Like where did it go?
But if
Where did
Fry
it come
found a hot
from?
dog, he would have eaten it.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of the situation. He would have been like, yeah, I'll do it. The costume contest was pretty silly. I like how you've gotten pretty entrenched into like cosplay stuff at various points, haven't you? Or do you just get like dressed up in crazy shit sometimes? Because I thought
if
you'd
there's
done
an
some.
event where I know that I'm going and cosplay is involved, I'll usually do it, or I'll just wear my Turbo Kid Apple cosplay over and over again because that's probably the best one I've ever done. It was so easy.
I don't know. I think last year when I did the Handmaid's Tale costume, that was conceived and executed in about 3 minutes, and it was.
I actually
good.
I planned my Apple costume. I wore it for Halloween, and then it was just like it's basically a sweatsuit, like it's sweatpants and a sweater, and so it's super comfortable. And I just made like a little harness thing like she wears, and then I spray painted a motorcycle helmet that I already had, and I made the gnome stick out of a friend gave me a baseball bat, and then I bought like a $10 gnome on Amazon. It's literally like the easiest costume ever to make, and it's so comfortable and it looks so good.
I think comfort is really key. Like just the fact that you can, because like if you're uncomfortable in that shit, it's just got to make it so unbearable. I don't know. I guess if you're really committed to it or something.
I
that's
wore
one
it
thing.
to Wizard World last year, maybe the year before. I don't think I went this past year, but I had like 50 people and their kids like, I take a picture of you with my kid. Can my daughter take a picture with you? And it was great.
Yeah.
And I'm just like hanging out in sweatpants.
All
It's
right.
like
Yeah.
Most people
Cool.
won't do that outside the house, and you're
And
getting people taking
I
pictures.
was worried that they weren't going to let me bring my gnome stick in because it's like a big, giant, heavy, like
Yeah.
could really hurt someone if I wanted to.
Just tell them it's styrofoam.
I guess
Or they
that's
didn't
what they
check.
thought. They didn't check. No one said anything to me, and I was carrying it around all day. And I was walking down streets downtown with it
Well, that's
between the Hilton and my car, or
it's a
wherever
good
the Holiday
thing to
Inn and my
have
car.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I was Batman once, but instead of being like Batman, I just had a bat. And I made a
were
chest.
Batman.
I had I made like a chest logo of
I
like a
get
bat, and I had a mask because you can't just be a crime fighter with nothing. But I'm the other Batman. Fuck that guy.
Like in this scene, it's weird because there are characters dressed up like Futurama characters.
Yeah, like Mom.
Mom, Evo, Mom's Sons, Robot Devil,
The brain spawns.
Yeah, and like Bender is dressed up like Leela.
Every nerd's
Every
fantasy.
nerd's fantasy. Leela's dressed up like Princess Leia, which that movie's like how many over 1,000 years old. Like, how would she have even seen it?
Right. and then Scruffy was dressed up as an Avatar, the blue skin
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I mean, they didn't say it was Scruffy, but you saw the face. And it was totally him. And then the announcer was like Gay Mario in short shorts.
Yeah. And then contestant number 36 was Spider-Man in like a hover round.
Yeah.
Whipped cream.
I mean, like there was, so, they definitely did some of the fat shaming stuff they do here and there on that. Like,
Yeah.
so I haven't gone to like a Wizard World or something. Like, is it common to see people cosplay in, and I guess most people going to any sort of thing are not built like superheroes are built. So is it common to see people just like, this is my thing and I'm into it, and it's like the body types are all mismatched?
And there's a women's cosplay group, and I can't remember what they're called for the life of me. Based out of Ohio, like someplace in Northeast Ohio, but they're like specifically like body positive, like all girl cosplay group, and they're really cool. Like I wish I could give them a shout out, but I can't remember the name of their group off the top of my head. But they're always at Wizard World, and they take pictures with people, but they're like bigger girls that wear stuff that they might get teased for, and you know, that's great. Good on them.
Yeah,
people were being super shitty to him online when Wizard World posted a picture of them.
Of course they were.
Of course they were.
They're getting nitpicked by nerds, which is exhausting. I mean, not like trying to put judgment on anything. I was just curious because it's not it's not something that I'm involved in at all. I mean, like my wife will go, or she'll take my. I think last year, Baby just made up her own character and like gets all done up, and it's a thing. But like, I mean, shit, even coming up with Halloween costumes for me sometimes. Like I said, like last year, I figured out what I was wearing for Halloween the day I had to go to the party. And it's like, I've got red sheets and some poster board.
My friend Nika, she dressed up like Amethyst from Steven Universe. Or is that her name? Amethyst? I think so. I'm not familiar with Steven Universe, but people were really into her cosplay because she painted her entire skin, like her whole skin, like purple.
Oh.
And
that seems like a lot of work and very uncomfortable. And then the rubbing off and the...
Well, I did have to wipe down I was glad that I have leather interior in my car because I drove and there were like handprints. It was cold. It was really cold the day that we went, so she sat on her hands in my car on the way to the hotel. And then after, like the next day when I got into my car, there were like purple, like
did she have to do like
handprints
touch-ups and
underneath.
stuff? That's...
Yeah, I guess I think it's just the weather. It wasn't really cooperating with the makeup, and it was flaking off and not sticking to her skin very well. But yeah,
she should have used dye. That would be a real commitment. Well, so anyway, Lur getting browbeaten by Enda to go out and conquer a planet for once, attacks the Comic-Con, and he gets mistaken for a costume and wins. Or no, he didn't win. Bender won as Nerdgasma.
Yes.
Which was Leela Nerdgasma.
He brings
Lur
back
doesn't
J.J.
understand.
Abrams' face.
Yeah, Lur doesn't understand why everyone's just standing around, and Leela says, "Oh, they're probably waiting for Joss Whedon," and he was like, "Joss Whedon is here." Like even Lur was impressed.
Well, he's he loves television. From what's the delay? Is it 1,000 years or 10?
He was watching a Saints game, so.
Oh, that's right. So it is back. So he ends up Enda kicks him out. He ends up crashing at Planet Express. With even that scene where he just like opens the door and he's like, "Can I stay here?" I love that. But that whole thing, like when they're talking about what he's doing, they're like, he showed up unannounced, raided the liquor cabinet, sprayed urine on the ceiling, and passed out, and the walls.
Yeah.
Which I've done some or all of those things, not necessarily all at the same time. I think maybe most people have in one case or another, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. It's just when you stack them up and do them continually is where you become unbearable, usually.
Yes.
You can break them out into what? I mean, I think the spraying the urine on
It's the least
the
favorable.
ceiling. It's I mean, it would kind of be impressive, really. I mean, to be able to hit the ceiling, you'd have to. I don't know. You get a wall. I mean, like that's a urinal, but to like get it up without getting it on yourself.
Yeah, it would be difficult.
It's a feat. You might need like a funnel or some kind of contraption. But what was it? He demanded the comfort of pop psychological platitudes, and then turns into midlife crisis lure, and it just it got weird at this point, like with the Elegant Elephant Big and Tall store.
Yeah.
Which,
Lure goes full midlife crisis, and they go to a plastic surgeon.
Downplay those hideous horns.
that's where my testes
Yeah,
are.
that's my testes.
I'm thinking horn extension.
Yeah. What's it? What did they go? Were they at the hip joint?
Yes, they were at the hip joint.
And Bender's like, "What's your type, Borgnine?" And he pulls out Horno magazine.
Well, the centerfold is like as big, like as tall. It's like life size. Like it just keeps unfolding.
But I like him big and angry. Like it's so ripe for stuff. Like it's so much cliche and dumb stuff on this one, but I really enjoyed it at times. Maybe it's because I'm in a midlife crisis. I don't know. But he got his cape by murdering his father, which was good. So when did Girl come into the picture? It's right around now, right?
When shows up, like,
yep, she's at the hip joint.
Yeah, because Bender's like, I don't know where we're gonna find one of those or whatever. And he's like, oh, there's one now. Yeah.
Yeah, so she introduces herself as Girl, and then Lur says, of the planet Omicron Persei 8? That's a pretty name.
Yeah, and that all takes a turn.
And that is the wonderful Katie Sackhoff.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a Starbuck?
Mm-hmm.
No kidding. Has she been in other stuff since then?
Since what?
Battlestar. I feel like I don't see her very often.
She was in a fan-made Power Rangers movie.
Okay.
Or like trailer. Or no, it's like it was a short film. With James Vanderbeek was also in it.
I thought that was just a trailer. I remember the one that you're talking about.
She actually has a new show coming out.
Does she?
Yeah. It's a sci-fi show, I believe.
I'm not sure who that is. I've never actually seen Battlestar.
What?
I know.
It's really good.
I'm right now catching up on all the American Horror Stories because I'm like multiple seasons behind. So over the weekend and like maybe like the last 4 or 5 days, I've just been binge watching American Horror Story because I had to watch the second half of Freaks, and I kind of just started at the last episode I remembered watching. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'm remembering all this stuff now. So I only watched half of Freaks, then I watched all of Hotel, and I watched all of Roanoke like yesterday. Like I spent the entire day after I ran errands in the morning. I just turned it on and watched it until it was 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so I watched one episode. I guess she's been in a bunch of stuff. A lot of it looks sort of B-movie-ish, but that's fine. I watched most of one episode of Roanoke and was like, nah.
I hated it at first, and then it's 10 episodes long, the season, and the 6th episode is where you're like, I get it. I get what they were doing this whole time that I hated. I see.
Okay.
So like episode 6 is where it kind of.
But you got to sit through 2/3 of the series to get. See, I'm already getting behind on shit again. You know, like, and it's like, I guess Cult just hit too.
Yeah, that's why I decided I'm gonna catch up because
I've been
it's
watching
like
the new
all
one.
over the place. And Jessica Lange is coming back, so
Oh, she wasn't in Roanoke.
she wasn't in Hotel or Roanoke or
I thought
Cult.
she was in Hotel.
Nope, that was her first non-season. That's why they brought in Lady Gaga.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I
I'm right now rewatching Murder House.
Nice.
Just to get ready for the new one. There's a crossover between.
Well, I've watched.
Connie
I've
Britton's
started
coming
watching
back,
that.
too.
Oh,
They've
is that
had
on now?
It just
2 or
started.
3
Did it?
episodes.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's good so far, but that's what I say about all of them
Until
until a certain point hits, and then I'm like, I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, it's another Ryan Murphy show.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever watch Nip Tuck?
No.
I mean, that's sort of the archetype for him just being like, oh, you thought that was some crazy shit. Hold my beer. And then it just go like the first couple of seasons were like soapy, but whatever. And then it gets to the 3rd season and there's a plastic surgery serial killer, a rapist, and it goes through this whole thing. And then it just
Weird.
like, and then at the
Was
end,
it like
the
kind of
twist
trying to
is,
steal Dexter audience when Dexter ended? Or
I think it might have been before Dexter. And it was even like the twist at the end was so dumb that it was just like, oh, come on, this is insulting. And then I watched like 3 more seasons.
I remember hearing about it because I used to work with 2 guys that were obsessed with Nip Tuck and would talk about it all the time.
That's, yeah.
What was the killer? It was like
The Carver or something.
Yeah.
So, wow. That was a deep Ryan Murphy thing. But the thing where Lur goes on that date, or no, Fry fixes his comic, and the hero has no powers at all, so they all get killed.
and then he just cries.
He cries and cries and cries. But Lur on his date with girl, I loved. That dinner was a worthy foe. And that makes me think, like, did they actually kill and eat it, or was that just a turn of phrase for him?
It might be just a turn of phrase.
It's still
Yeah.
like, maybe he had to wrestle it, or he put on a show for her. But I just got partway out of a bad relationship.
Yeah, so they're starting to fool around, I guess you could say, and then girl reveals that she is actually just a human in an Omicronian costume.
She's really turned on.
She's a cross-species dresser. And then she realizes that he's actually an Omicronian and not someone dressing like she is. But the thing, when this episode aired, I had that exact same haircut. And then when she popped out of her costume, I was watching it with my friends and they were like, holy shit, it's Michelle. And I actually I took a picture of my TV and used it as my profile picture on Facebook for like a year.
It was like the pixie cut thing?
The pixie cut with like the colored front part.
Oh my God.
Looked exactly like me.
I thought the same thing about Lur as I watched him. I'm like, yeah, without the horn extensions, it's pretty 1-to-1. She says, conquer me, Lord, sharpen your horns on my scaly thorax.
She wants to have her poplars. I want to have your poplars.
Ew.
That makes me think of like the egg insertion devices that come up in my Facebook feed every once in a while. It's like, you're not going to believe what kinky people are into. And it's like laying gelatin alien eggs inside you. Mm-hmm. It's just, I've
seen those.
Look, people, I'm not like good on you if that's your thing. It's just, that seems like it would be terribly messy. At a bare minimum, maybe uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But girl is definitely into it. But anyway, so this is the part where I loved it because it's like, oh God, what's the context of this line? It goes, Unda wants whatever she beast wants.
Leela's yelling at him because they're back at the Planet Express and Lur is crying because of girl.
Yeah.
Saying that Inda's never going to take him back. And Leela just says, Inda just wants whatever she beast wants, to feel like you're listening to her nagging. Is there anything she's been writing your ass about? Love it.
Fry calls up Orson Welles to restage War of the Worlds.
Yes. And this is so funny because coincidentally, for some reason, don't know why, the Orson Welles champagne commercial outtakes popped up in my YouTube suggested videos the other day, and I watched it again. Like, I've seen it before, but I watched it because I was like, oh, this is it's
timely.
This is timely for the episode that we're about to do. And it's just so bad where he's just like,
this is garbage. Absolute drivel.
They call action and he's just sitting there and they're like, Orson, action. Orson, action. And he's just like, huh? What?
It's too much Blue Nun. So there is a I don't remember if I talked about this on the show or not. So if I have, sorry folks, I'm going to talk about it again. My dad used to own a recording studio that did commercial work. And one of the clients they had was the local Kentucky Fried Chicken franchisee. So he had like a bunch, and it was just Kenny King's up here. Kenny King was a guy who franchised the KFC stuff from Colonel Sanders. So they'd bring Colonel Sanders up to do local commercials. But he was like 90 years old and batshit senile. So there was like a reel of outtakes from him where he was just like, they'd get the 30 seconds they needed for the commercial, and then there was like 4 minutes of him just rambling incoherently. And it's like, and not even like, nothing like terrible. Like, it's not like, there's some secret racist tape of Colonel Sanders or anything, but like this thing. And I guess back then, all of these recording engineers would just like swap tapes like that. Like every studio would get their shit and then pass them around and be like, yeah, I got a tape of Orson Welles. I'm going to tape of Colonel Sanders. And like, all right, here's Elvis farting on mic, like that kind of shit. Like, that's what we lose when the recording industry goes under, because people just, like, I still wish at some point, even if we had just done it once, had done Slurcast, where we just took all of our edited out stuff from the show and shoved it together in a contiguous audio file, like devoid of context. That would have been good. Now we just don't edit it anymore.
Right.
So it wouldn't matter. But back when we cared, it was a whole thing. But the whole thing, like, just the Orson Welles stuff with him, like, if you want that cheese log, you'll read what I wrote. And like this, it's like when Fry did the single female lawyer thing too. Like whenever they give him a chance to script, it's almost like when Charlie does that stuff on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like it's that sort of like there's the whole production aspect to it, but it's so crazy and weird. I love it. Just like Zapp and Kith thinking it's really under attack, but the to hell with Little Orphan Annie. And just everything going apeshit on that. But when the Nimbus landed at the White House, it seems a lot smaller than it has in space.
Yeah, it did. It did look smaller.
Maybe it's a mini Nimbus or something.
It may be.
Just Korean animators having fun. But his immediate surrender and handing up Kif as a sacrifice was like, yeah, that's about right for him for sure. And Nixon resigned again. Everyone gets enslaved. It was just like it was a blood free conquering, which I think would make, it wouldn't be as satisfying for the Omicronians, right? Like there's not any carnage really.
No, I think it was just for alert to impress and into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, it worked because she was experiencing arousal and her organs were moving into position.
And when they're in bed and they're in the cave mining the gems, that Australian guy's there, and he's only
the Crocodile Dundee guy again. I missed that.
He's only in scenes where they're like doing hard labor like that as slaves.
And it's always the Paul Hogan guy. Like that's the part
he doesn't say anything in it. He's just there.
I wonder if there was a deleted scene where it had that or something.
Or maybe.
Was it, the thing where it's like, what's up between you and Bossy Boots? Because Leela just can't catch a break, really.
Why are you yelling quietly with the purple furred one?
That's a good way to put it. I like they never kind of figure out how all that shit works, and it's fun to watch them like just keep arguing about it. I don't know. There's this. I mean, because it is like such a like a goofy thing with the honeymooners knockoff bit. Like that's really all it is. But it just it just goes and goes, and it's evergreen. I guess domestic violence never gets old, does it? It's not really violence. It's just bickering. But you know that he's threatening to knock her kapow to the moon, right? So what? I'm still going back trying to figure out context because my brain is just mush. But so they have to figure out whether he kills Leela or Unda. Is that the contest?
That's the
Rrrmrrrmrrrfrrrmrrr or consequences.
Or what?
Rrrmrrrmrrrmrrr or what?
Okay, yeah, I didn't even try to write that down. Who's gonna die? What would Delivery Boy Man do? Cry? But that's. I guess this is the part where it gets silly and comes back around. Like, Fry tries to save Leela and gets zapped and sacrificing himself for her, which repairs the relationship with them.
Which is the second time, I think, that he's jumped in front of Leela to save her.
He's taken a lot of bullets for her. There was the bee sting.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, and she still is just like lukewarm on the guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I really have problems with that whole relationship. And even this in the episode for next week, which I watched yesterday, there's still this stuff where it's like, I thought at this point their relationship was straight up established, and it still seems like really wishy-washy and like on again, off again without any reference to it. There's something, I don't think it was in this episode necessarily, but it was definitely in the next one. It was just like, does anybody know I have a giant crush on Leela? It's like, well, you're dating. Like, what the, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in shooting at Leela, their relationship gets repaired, and Inda takes him back. But like, good night, dumb prince.
Mm-hmm.
was just lovely. And then girl goes after Zoidberg, which is like, I can.
That's when they realized that the gun that they'd used,
the teleporter ray,
was actually one of the professor's teleporter guns and not the disintegrator ray from the comic.
Well, the disintegrator ray from the comic was a teleporter ray, so it works out perfectly. It was great.
Yeah. So, Girl and Fry are both fine. They just got teleported instead of disintegrated. They find Fry in a closet at the Planet Express, and Bender says, "Is this him?"
Well, and going back to Girl on Zoidberg, I guess what was her name? Mona from the episode where they went to Zoidberg's planet, because she was all over Fry. So there's precedent for that. But
I forgot about that.
I mean, he's disgusting though. Like, that's. I don't know. Maybe if that's your thing, that's your thing. Because she just seemed to be
live in a dumpster.
He's got to smell terrible, like rancid seafood. Covered.
He
in
definitely
garbage.
smells terrible.
There is an episode about it.
there's
coming up.
Barnacles
it's called
on his
stench
tuchus.
and stenchability. That's the name of the article.
You'll
or
love
the episode.
You'll love it.
Wonderful. Sounds like it's chock full of Zoidberg.
It is.
And so Fry rewrites his comic again. But the part that in this last version of it that I love so much was jumping sound. Ow!
That was also almost my opening line for the episode. It was jumping sound.
It was good. I mean, it does get a quick little resolution here at the end, but like, Delivery Boy Man, you saved me by random chance, which is perfect. That's so his thing.
Thank my meteor wishing power with your lips.
Oh God.
But then Fry gets a little smooch from Leela in real life, and she says, "Good ending. Not great."
Yeah, he can't win. He can't win. She's so critical, and I think it comes back to bite her all the time. It's just it's not fair.
Well, when he does like the second draft of the comic, we didn't bring this up when we were at that point in the episode, but she says, "I've now seen 2 comic books, and you think you should listen to me." Like, because she's seen 2 comics that were his, she's like an expert in comic books.
Well, yeah, that's basically how the internet works, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen one show, or I've seen one thing, or I learned how to do this one way, so I know everything. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of how higher education works too. Like, a faculty member learns everything about one particular thing and thinks that there's a transitive property to knowledge where they know everything about everything, and they need to be heard. It's true. It's a whole thing. It's a tricky minefield to navigate, I can tell you.
Wow, we stayed on track on this one.
We did. That's
Look
what
at
happens
that
when we
time,
don't have
45 minutes.
Do you want to talk about mayonnaise some more?
No, I'm good.
What about sriracha?
Gochujang's better.
You think so?
Yeah.
I like, actually, there's a Japanese mayonnaise called Kewpie mayonnaise, like Kewpie dolls. I don't know what's different about it.
I almost bought some of that on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, you were going down to Asia Plaza, and I meant to give you a shopping list.
I went to 2 different grocery stores. The one was super packed, and the prices were higher than the one that I usually go to, so I just left.
Tink Hall or Park to Shop?
Park to Shop was the one I left.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Asian Town Center market, like the huge one that's in the Asian Town Center.
Yeah.
Which is like 2 blocks away.
Mm-hmm.
It's better. I got like 3 pounds of pork belly for $8.
Yeah, it's good. I need to go stock up on some spices and things. But the Kewpie mayonnaise, if you mix it with hot sauce and put it on like roasted potatoes as like a hot potato salad, oh shit, is that so good?
It's good.
Yeah, it's really good. I had that at Momofuku and the one in Toronto, and then had to recreate it at home.
I'm like obsessed now. My new favorite snack is these it's these like rice cakes. I don't know. I don't want to call them rice cakes because they're not like what you think of a rice cake. You think of those big, like the Quaker
like
Oats, like puffed rice.
Not
it's not that. They're like crisp, crunchy. They're like little cookies almost, and they're
rice crackers.
They're soy flavored and seaweed. It's like spicy seaweed. The brand is Bin Bin, which I guess translates to want. And they come in little packs of 2 crackers.
Oh my god!
And
then you get a big bag of them.
You get a big bag of them, and the little packs are a half of a serving, and each serving is like 70 calories. So you can eat 2 little packs, so like 4 of these things, and it's only 70 calories, and they're like super delicious.
Mostly air.
Mostly, but
seaweed.
they're good. I love seaweed, and it's just like a little tasty, little salty snack.
The problem,
and now I put them in my lunch every day, and I have a million bags. That's why I had to go back because I ran out and I couldn't take it anymore.
Let me know when you're going next time because I do have to stock up on some things, and I may not be able to go in a quick manner. But the thing that bothers me about it is they'll find stuff like that you like, and then it'll disappear. And good luck fucking finding it again.
That was the last time it was in a completely different package, and I couldn't find it. And I walked around for like 10 minutes, and I was like, "Oh fuck! Did it like discontinue? It's gone." Yeah. Like I got them once, fell in love with them, and now they're not there anymore. But then I realized that they had just changed like the entire packaging of it, and I wasn't seeing it because it didn't look like it was completely different. Like, didn't even look like the same product, but I found it, and I bought, like, 3 more bags, so I have, like, 100 of these things.
But there was one that I used to get called Pansuke's flour snack that was, like, similar, because most of that stuff's all made out of rice flour anyway, and then it's got that, like, that puffed, then glazed with some kind of soy glaze, and then seaweed on it. So it's just different shapes of the same thing. And I loved these things. They were like basically like pizza roll size and shape, the little envelopes of puffed air. And I got them regularly for about 3 months, and then never again because they disappeared. They disappeared.
I also got ice cream. I was looking for green tea ice cream because it's good, delicious. And then I saw that they also had lychee sherbet, which I got. And then the third one that they had in the case, it just said red bean flavored ice cream.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's delicious.
It is delicious. I don't know how to explain what it tastes like. It's like a sweet bean that I guess is usually put on desserts. Like it's like smashed into a paste. And this ice cream, I had some last night. So good. Didn't know what the fuck it was, but I was like, this is so weird. I have to buy it just to see what it is. It was only $3, so I was like, if it sucks,
no big deal. You need to try the sesame balls because they put the red bean paste in there.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, we can put that on the food podcast when we get around to making it.
Yep.
Do like
so
a dim
this
sum
is
episode.
the Slurmcast snack corner.
Yeah, I need to find some new snacks, but I probably just need to not eat as many snacks. That's what I need to. I need to have snacks. Find a way to have less snacks find their way into my mouth. That's what I need to have happen. Anything coming up or going on this week, or this will go out Wednesday, right? And then
I don't think anything's
coming up.
No.
All right. Well, sorry we dropped the ball last week. Everybody got sick.
No, we didn't drop the ball. Life dropped the ball.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We're not going to take ownership of that. Who wants to plug? Do the plugs.
Okay.
I can't remember them anymore.
We have Facebook Slurmcastpod, Instagram, SlurmcastPod. Twitter, SlurmcastPod. Facebook is just Slurmcast, not SlurmcastPod. Don't go to SlurmcastPod on Facebook, whatever you do.
That'll be like looking up Plop comics.
Yeah, Plop Comics. Oh, and I'll also plug my friends Dorian and Max have a podcast called The Pre-Dead Boys, based out of Columbus. If you like anything that has anything to do with like creepy, morbid stuff or death rituals or anything like that, if you like true crime, they do all that kind of cool stuff.
Pre-Dead?
The Pre-Dead Boys on iTunes and all your podcast places. Check them out. They're pretty cool.
Would that be the same as Alive Boys?
They're pre-dead.
Okay. They're not dead yet.
Not yet.
Slurmcastpod@gmail.com.
Yes, slurmcast.com, 216-438-1077. Call or text us, rate, review us on iTunes. Find us anywhere on the internet.
Find us in person.
Go to TeePublic if you want some Futurama t-shirts or any t-shirts there. If you go through our link and buy anything, we'll get money for it.
Yeah.
Couple cents.
Fractional cents add up.
Yes.
It's true.
And yes, we'll be back next week with a new episode.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I got to start traveling again for work, so I'll be in Portland in a couple weeks. If there's anything fun to do there, let me know. Just send it to the email or call or just say, don't go here, we'll beat you down. That's fair too.
Yep.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.